live stream. Please share, subscribe, and hit that like button for me. Trump is the judgment of white America. Now, I want to talk to you guys about Donald Trump. And I like to get on him now because all of us are tired of game playing. And you know, America will just have to do justice by us or just let us go. I said, America, she's in trouble. And I said, God is about to wipe this nation from the face of this earth. Now, listen, because I'm not crazy and I'm not drunk. But how long do you think that America that can do evil and not face the judgment and wrath of God? You see, they asked me about the president, morality. Well, how you think about the president that's moral? Well, I said the founding fathers of this nation were slaveholders. You know, they raped black women and gave them babies, but never of their own children. You know, when they framed the Constitution, so there was never thinking sex as a high crime and misdemeanor. The president disgraced the overall office for what he did with Monica Lewinsky. You see, murder was found in the overall office. You see him killing the kings and rulers. Their nation and the governments was heads and outlaws and masters of assassinators. So when has this overall office ever been a moral place? So if my words frighten you, then wait till I finish. See, many of us, we play with God, but we want God to be all loving and merciful. And yes, he loves us all right, but you see, he kills people out of his love for righteousness. And he hates us when we refuse to bow down and submit ourselves for his mercy before it's too late. See, you could put Hitler, Genghis Khan, Tabla Khan, Tamerlane, and Ronald Reagan. But notice, they never killed as many people as God. But God kills and destroys people out of his love for righteousness. And he hates us when we refuse to bow down and submit ourselves first mercy before it's too late. Now, how many of us had some good parents? You had a good mother or a good father. Warn somebody in the community, warn a loved one, and says, hey, now, look, you're doing wrong. Now, please change from your behavior. And then all of a sudden, you get a notice in the mail that they was dead. At least you can say, I tried all that I can. And even when the young brother sing you that very sad song, he done all that he can to warn you that death has now entered into America. One disaster after another. And oh, my brothers and sisters, get a grip. Now, what do you think this rain is? And what do you think these winds is? And what do you think the unusual rain and the unusual snow, the violent winds and pestilence? See, famine is here. And more famine is on its way. And see, Mickey D's won't be able to give you a burger. And the Bible says, you will look at your own fat children. You see, very strange. See, America is facing a divine judgment similar to that of ancient Babylon. Now, I want to talk to you about America is surrounded with the judgment of Allah. Now, the four great judgment that Allah, God Almighty, is bringing upon America are rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes. We see them now covering all sides of America, as the Holy Quran prophesies, curtain her on all her sides. And these judgment will push the people into the center of the country. And they will realize that it's Allah God who is bringing them and their country to a nothing. Job prophesies that Allah God has the snow and ice to use as its weapons in the days of war and battle against the wicked. We hear and read in the newspapers today of how great hill like little mountains of snow are pushing down from the north. Not only in the northern states, you see, Montana, Minnesota, South Dakota, but now the snow is in the New England states. They are declared to be disaster areas. The announcer, disaster of the snow in the New England state, says they have never been such great quantity of snow. All up and down the coast, the Carolinas. The rain takes up where the snow leaves off. All around the southern borders of America, storms are raging. There are tornadoes and heavy rain and more storms on the way, one right after another. In the north and far west and the east, America is surrounded with the judgment of Allah, God. There are earthquakes and the seas is raging. The Pacific Ocean is now angry and raging and tossing up great waves as never before. The Pacific Ocean are throwing up waves to a fair height that man never seen before. It's an uptick that's happening at the Pacific coast, The cat says the dust was on matter of time that they would get the big quake. Now, I want to ask you guys, why should these things hit America? The Revelation teach you why. Because America is filled with devils and has such unclean person living in America. We see that is true under hateful birds. Every filthy, shameless, wicked person comes there for a haven where he can do any wickedness he wants to do. The country opens and welcomes that type of person. As we see, the few little Muslims, who name Muslim means those who have submitted to the will of Allah God, how the enemy hates us and seeks to do all the evil he possibly can against us by falsehood. See, these are not the days of Noah, Lot, Abraham, nor are these the days of Moses. See, these are new times. Enemy does not get away and punishing the righteous just because he hates them. Allah, the God of righteousness, is with us. He just laughed at those who tried to fight against him. He had destroyed whole nation with less than the power of rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes. The Holy Quran has a record of people even being destroyed. See, Allah, God does not have to have something great. He does not have to go to work and get a block of arm or a mountain and throw it on you. He used that which is with you against you. The force of nature are great weapons we see as we see them in play upon America. Storms after storms of snow and ice are whirling in from the north and are pushing great drifts. They are just covering up everything. What can you do with a God like that? Job prophesied it. That Allah God has his weapons stored up to use in the days of war and battle with the wicked. He just takes some snow and cover them up. The Holy Quran says that Allah God destroyed people with just cold winds. He froze them. Do you think that you can get away with fighting Allah God? No wonder the second psalm says that he will sit in heaven and laugh at those who are trying to fight against him. He will have you crazy. It is true. The heads of the governments of the Christian world are confused. And they do not know that they are confused. Why? Because the grave desire was to confuse us. Allah, God, has taken confusion out of us and put it into them. Eat, America. Help yourself to the desert that you have prepared for us. You eat it. All praise are due to Allah, God, who came in the person of Master Fala Muhammad. We went to Alabama and any states that we go to. We pay a high price per acre of land that our father labors has already brought for us. Now he wants to kill us. If we act humble and peaceful and want to buy back some of our own labors. I laugh at some of these things that I hear coming out of Alabama. And not only in Alabama, but every other states in the union. They do not know the time in which they are living. Allah God is well able to take this country from you and give it to whom he pleases. It is in your Bible. Read it for yourself. He took the kingdom from the wicked and gave it to whom he pleases, those who will bring people into righteousness. America is surrounded with the judgment of Allah. For a great judgment we see rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes, and confusion in the head of states. The four great judgment of America. To be pledged with too much rain will destroy properties and lives. It swells the rivers and creeks. Too much rain floods cities and towns. Large bodies of water at the ocean shoreline will be made to swell with unusual highways, dumping billions of tons of water over the now seashore line. Rain destroyed properties and killed cattle by drowning them in lowlands. Rain destroyed the hiding places of victorious beasts and reptiles, bringing them out, fighting small towns and people homes and farms. Rain weakens and destroys railroads, truck lines, bed, and bridges. Rain undermines foundation of all types of buildings. Rain makes the atmosphere too heavy with moisture, causing sickness. Wind with rain can bring destruction to towns and cities, bringing germs and causing sickness to the people. It produces unclean water by the swelling of the streams and destroying of the pure drinking water used for the health of the people. Rain is the destructive army with itself. Hailstorms are also a property and life destroyer. Snow is the most dreaded plague when it comes in great drift from 5 to 35 feet. It buries your properties and lives. It destroys your highways, your cities, and your gravel towns, cities. It put a burden of expense upon the cities. It put a burden of expense upon the cities to repair it. The cage in of roofs of homes, we see the cutting off of homes, the cutting off of transportation, isolation areas, bring about starvation, communications destroyed, with the icing of the communication wires. Snows look pretty because of its clean look. Almost everything in nature is beautiful, but it can be turned into death and destruction against man. Snow is prophesied to be one of the weapons that God will use against the wicked America. Job 38:22 and 23. Hell also is mentioned in the same two verses, where God plainly tells us that he has preserved it against the time of trouble, against the days of battle and war. The Holy Quran also teach us that God used snow, rain, wind, hail, earthquakes, and fire against former wicked people. Is America any better than the people read about in the history that God destroys? No, she is not as good. These people was not as wicked as the American people. Earthquakes can destroy towns and cities instantly. America is in a grip of divine judgment. America is in a position towards her one slave, so-called Negro, as Pharaoh was with Israel as his slave. She is in this position because an injustice done to American so-called Negro slave brought to America over 400 years ago, refused to let them go free. They only say that you are free, knowing within that you are not able to leave them without anything. But the injustice continued to increase. Now they plan death. So this God was predicted by the prophet come to the defense of these people, the so-called Negro, in the last days after they served the enemy for 400 years. The Bible declared to Abraham in Genesis that God will judge the people to whom his people Abraham will be in bondage. This does not mean Israel. This means the present black people, the members of the black nation who have and are fulfilling their prophecy. God and the person Master Fard Muhammad will not be defeated. The more evil, deceiving, tricky, making false promises to the American so-called Negro only increase America divine chastisement, doom. America knows there are troubled lies and a mistreatment of the black man, the so-called Negro, but she is too wicked to give up tricking the Negro and deceiving him on false promises. She just cannot stop. The opportunity is too open, and she thinks that there is no one to hinder her. But God has chosen us to be his people, and he delights in fighting enemy. According to the history of the former people, he delights himself by going forth against them when they extended the limit. So it is with America. They must be separate. America will not agree to see the Negro separate from her until she suffered divine punishment, as Pharaoh suffered. The same things that other evil nations suffered before them is now coming upon these people. She seeks to keep her slave robbed opportunity and wealth. She envies success coming to the American Negro free slave. She charged them high prices to keep them down. She deceived them through a few of what we call Uncle Toms in the political circle, class, and all professional classes. She offered them little favoritism to help her work against their own people, the black people. But they too would suffer along with the enemy of justice of the poor, so-called Negro. They must be separate. Envy and hatred are going between the two people, regardless of their preaching of social integration. The truth must come. What is better than a program you find I have written you two black and whites cannot get along in peace, that you have never gotten along in peace? Do you know why? Why America does not like to talk with you about separation, and why he calls separation of the two people the wrong solution for peace between the people? He knows that it's promised and that God will do it. Then why do they not agree with separate themselves from you and me and we from them? Why are the black man and white man all over the earth now in disagreement with each other to live in peace? Do you know why? Oh, foolish American, so-called Negro, seek some of this earth that you can call your own to live on in peace. Unite and ask the government for a portion of America. This is what we need somewhere to live to ourselves. Let the white man live to himself. The two people are not brothers. They are aliens to each other. See, God did not make them brothers to each other. I ask you, my brothers and sisters, to learn this. Learn it quickly. Fly for your life to the refuge of Allah. Come follow me. The Holy Quran, we see Surah chapter 13:41. Sees they not that we are visiting a land, curtain it of its size? And Allah pronounced a doom, and there is no repeller of his decreed. And he is swift and call into account. Black man America, there is no one as blind as you are seeing what is going on against America. I have warned you for nearly 40 years that Allah, God, and the person of Master Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, came to me and gave me the knowledge of the truth. And I have been preaching it to you continually. Now you see what is going on. As America has done, so now it is being done into her. America has surrounded the country of the people. She had blown their cities to pieces, and she had killed the inhabitants. Those who were left alive, she put to flight, running from shelter, from destruction by American might. It is very sad and horrible to look at the things that America have done, which are now coming on this country. For many years, centuries of years, America has lived a luxurious, wicked life while hating her black slave and depriving them of justice, shooting them down on the streets and on the highways, in the woods and fields for nothing. She did it just because she felt that she had the advantage. And she wanted to kill black people as she was made to do. Psalms chapter 10, verse 8. He sat in the lurching places of the village in the secret place. Do he murder the innocents? His eyes are set against the poor. Up until this very minute, she is seeking to destroy the black man in America and to deprive him of freedom to do for self. America never desired a departure of the black slave from his white slave master. America wished only to hold the black slave in order to continue to treat him with evil. Pharaoh hatred and injustice to Israel and Egypt, the time of Moses, to serve America as a warning. But she had fallen headlong to the destruction of Allah God. America runs to and fro seeking a way out, but she does not try to justify her black slave for justice and equality amongst the nations of the earth. America made us into nothing. She used us to mock us before the nations of the earth. But a God with unlimited wisdom, knowledge, and power is now befriending the black slave. And he has chosen the black slave to be his people. But the foolish black people had no knowledge that Allah God is their best friend. And that he is here to save them from the destruction of a people who have shown evil and hatred to us all of our lives. America divided us one against the other. The black man in America is so divided against each other that you seek all the time to do evil against each other. You cannot even befriend them unless they take advantage of it. They call you a fool for trying to befriend them, as it was with us by mid-grade technical schools. Mid-grade technical schools came to us for help. We gave them that help to keep them from falling. It cost us $30,000 to set them free of their back rents and other bills that they had. Take a look at how they have turned on us for the purpose of wrecking all of their beautiful businesses set up for them and others to enjoy on the south side of Chicago, Illinois. The fall of America foretold separation is the answer. And when the cities are set on fire, and when mans are united, and when hell is kindled, till the folding up is the title taken from the first verse of this chapter, in which the birth verses are found. And when the sun is folded up, the Holy Quran, Surah 81, verse 1, prophesies the folding up of a recorded work, a record of what people have done as it used will no longer be necessary. This chapter refers to what take place in the resurrection. One part is recorded as a beginning, while the other part is discontinued. We see this clearly being made manifest today. You see, war caused destruction of civilizations. War destroys cities and towns of a nation. This chapter 81 of the Holy Quran is now being fulfilled. The stars and the sun, mountains, camels, and wild animals are mentioned in the first 4 verses of this chapter. and are not without. See, the coming of God refers to by the prophet is to unite a people who have been divided against self by their enemies. He chose these people for building a better world. The Bible revelation refers to the destruction of the beast and its chief instructor, the dragon. The name beast given here is not referred to 4-foot animals, but to a people who rule is like that of a savage beast. The theologians, most of them from the time of Martin Luther, who I think was the author of these terms, beast, dragons, especially late Pastor Russell and Judge Radford, founder of Jehovah's Witness sect, takes the term dragon to refer to the Pope of Rome, the father of the Christian church we see and the Christian religions. This is the first time since we have been lost in this part of the earth that we want to unite the black nation of the earth into one under the guidance of God who is now present. Why should the master continue to deceive his slave? He teaches the slave that he is a free citizen with equality. Why do you slave master want to hold them for hostage, pray? You do not need them. The machines do the labor that slave used to do. Why not let them go? You want to go to war against Allah and the freedom that Allah came to do for you slaves before you Pharaoh had that same idea? He did not want Israel to go free the land to themselves. Pharaoh lost the war against Allah and was drowned in the Red Sea. The loser of this war will land in a lake of fire, not water. If white America wants to free a slave, she can easily do so. This will be simpler and easier than what she is doing today, killing and provoking them through police force, National Guards, and finally the U.S. Army, as we see in Chicago and as we see in Memphis and other parts. American action shows us two things. Firstly, she wished to cause fear amongst the so-called Negro with a display of many deadly weapons, but Allah is removing the fear. Secondly, she fears to approach her armed slave unless she is armed. This has been historical relation between the white man and his slaves. So the white man seeks the leaderships of the so-called Negro to help him keep the dissatisfied slave subject to him without complaint about injustice. The white man will say, "Nigga, you should be happy now. You are better off than many of your black kind with a job." The white slave master brought our fathers here to do the slave work. Our free laborers have made the white slave master richer than their brethren, Europeans, that offer us any of this land that they took from the Indians. The 22 million so-called Negro should be seeking some of this earth on which to live and build an independent nation out of self. The white man only offers a job. Allah, God, has come in a person of Master Fly, Muhammad, whom praise are due forever, to free us. The Negro slave must be free. This is the meaning of the resurrection. Allah, God, has says to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace be upon him, that he intends to free the American so-called Negro at any price. For 400 years, you slave masters have been killing the so-called Negro without receiving any resistance, regardless of his peaceful way with you. We the Muslims have tried to live in peace here in America. There's not a single instant in our 36 years of history where we have ever made an aggressive move against you, but you have attacked us several times. We have proved to the world that you are impossible to live with in peace. You have condemned and killed the just and he who do not resist you. James 5:6. You have destroyed many towns, cities, and people. As you have divided the so-called nickel, one against the other. So Allah shall divide you and your brethren. As you have done to others, so shall be done to you. The Bible. And when the cities are set on fire, this is a sign at the end of you as a power. Now, the house is doomed to fall. And we cannot deny this fact that this Christian West is responsible for this universal corruption of land and seas. From the same corruption that their own hands have made will come their doom. The Christian preach that which they do not do, cannot do, such as love your neighbors. I have yet to meet one who loved his neighbor as did himself. Thou shalt not kill. I have yet to meet such a Christian. They even fight against each other, rob and kill each other, but yet represent themselves as world peacemakers. With whom? The great deceivers of the world reap what they have sown. Have they not corrupted many people and nation under good, peaceful, loving Christians? See, the Christian West is full of the worst crimes, practicing evil to the fullest, seeking to practice them on other nations as well. The universal temper ever parade before the world. They bold have new girls and women. They are before your eyes in almost everything. Murder, gambling, robbery, drunkenness, drugs, adultery, lying. There's hardly any end to it. The lands and seas are filled with deadly weapons of wars. The islands of the seas are filled with corruptions by all the nations of earth, for they are proud and boastful, and are now hated and despised according to their wishes. The religion of Christianity is a curse to us, the black man, and is full of slavery teachings. They have poisoned the Bible with they adding to and taken from the truth. Now the doom is in sight. It is their own work. They command the sea with their powerful navies, parking them off the shore of the nations. They secure the air base on their soils to place the deadly bombs carrying planes within easy striking distance of those whom they fear to be the enemies. Is this not the easy way to make an enemy? Is this the act of a real Christian? The follower of Jesus, whom they preach, came for peace of mankind, and to teach the sheathing of the sword and the turning of the other cheek. Now, where is the good Christian amongst this race? They love meddling other people's affairs. They are in every fight of war, if it matters not with whom or where, but yet crying peace, peace, with every deadly weapons of war to provoke other nations to war. Shall not the God of peace and justice deal with you in your troublemaking as he did with those before you? I warn every one of you, my people, fly to Allah with me for refuge. As I warn you, the judgment of this world has arrived. Get out of the slave-making Christianity and to the right religion, Islam. The house you are in shall surely fall and never rise again. The destruction and fall of the world that we have known is now without a doubt and process. When we refer to the world, we are referring to the world of the white man. For the world of the black man have yet to come in. The world of the black man by divine guidance is now merging in on the old world of the white race. This makes the destruction and fall of the world of the white man. Here in America, you can see nothing but the fall of America. It is no secret. It is obvious to the eyes that are open. If we want to close our eyes and minds, claim that we do not see and understand, they will be falling ourselves. This refusal to see is foolhardy, regardless to how we may desire to see the old world stands. We do not have the power to starve off the destruction that caused the world of the white man to fall. The destruction and power that is bringing about the fall of the white man is coming from Allah God. The past history of the world of the white man, there never was a time of destruction of his world like the present time. It is useless for you to try to prevent the fall of the white man's world. There is no checking it. The white race have not tried to do the right thing, justice. The doing of justice would have checked her fall. The Bible, Jeremiah. But America was never willing, and even at this hour, she is not willing to do justice by those who she had mistreated. She had dealt injustice to her black slave for nearly 500 years that she had been in the Western hemisphere. America has constantly burdened the poor black slave with every evil that she could imagine. Evil scientists who have invented more and more evil practice have not been able to invent any more evil than that which they have already put out. See, day and night, without a let up, the white man mistreat the poor black slave. And now since heaven and the God of peace, justice, freedom, equality have come to the black slave, the white man is trying to make everyone that recognize the truth deviate from it. The white man says do not accept it. He make the black man a hypocrite against his own starvation. The white man trolls the one who have not as yet accepted the truth of their starvation. And he promised them that which he will never be able to fulfill. America is falling. She's now losing the power and authority that she was enjoying in foreign lands. Her fall is very visible. Ever her authorities have been exercised, people are now crying out in one voice, leave us, leave us. American, go home to America. The citizens of the countries are telling American citizens, leave us. America no longer have friends. America and England deposited little brother Israel on foreign soil, the Palestinians, which is Arab lands. Deprived the Arabs of their own land and sent them off. See, this injustice against the Arabs now calls America the power and authority that she once exercised in the East. She is on her way out of the Near East. This means bloodshed and plenty of it. In the Near East, there stand navies, which are neither American nor British. They are there to drive America out. Skies over there are beginning to thicken with foraging planes, carrying deadly weapons, guns, and bombs. They will not be satisfied as long as Israel is in Palestine. The boil has come to a bursting point. We are in a troubled world. We are in a world that is now erupting. Black man was once a slave in America. You have a way of escape. The way out is now your own terms. It's on the condition that you submit to Allah God and come follow me. This is the only way out. I'm the door. I have the keys to your starvation, ejected, and died. We are in a world that is falling. It will soon be going up in flame. In Germany, the Cold War we see between East and West will soon erupt to a hot war. It will never be settled in peace. East and West Germany must and will fight it out with all the deadly weapons that the war scientists have planted and perfect for the final showdown. You do not have to worry too much about whether or not America is coming out of Asia. Certainly, America is coming out of Asia. The odds are against her staying there. But I warn you, my black people, my black brothers here in America, that while she is on the way home, we the black people are standing in a crossfire. The only hope that we have is to fly to our refuge and alive God. Look at what is going on to the south of us. Look at the many hijacks stick up of planes. America is afraid to put a stop to the hijack. She knows that she's going to run into more than she expects. Who would have thought that the big power of America would suffer such disgrace in this day and time? This is to teach you and me, black brothers, that the great power of America is becoming weak. She is falling. I said, black brothers, join to your own kind. Come follow me. For the world that you and I have known will soon be no more. The days of America's downfall. See, Allah manifests this fall of America, desire to make America fall as a warning to her brethren in Europe. White Americans in Germany, Allah has taught me, are the most wicked of the white race. The wicked deeds that have been performed and are still being performed by white Americans upon the so-called Negro. The slaves are the worst and animal of history. They have been clever enough in their wickedness to make the so-called Negro slave love them, though they are their open enemies and murderers. Allah and the person of Master Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, now judge the American whites and cause America fall and total destruction. Ancient Egypt under Pharaoh is an example fulfilling the signs and other prophecies of the doom of these people as foretold by the prophet from Noah to Jesus. Now, Moses and Jesus we see are the most outstanding prophets in the history of the Caucasian race for the past 4,000 years. There are several others contemporary, but Moses and Jesus are the major prophets of the white race history. The whole of the civilized world today, as prophesied in Isaiah, is against the white man of America. How Allah hates the wicked American whites and threatens to remove them from the face of this earth. Since white Americans and the white race in general had deceived the entire world of black people and their brethren, brown, red, and yellow, Allah now is causing people to wake up and see the right race as it really is, great enemy of the darker people. As we see today, there's a general awakening of the darker people into the knowledge of self and the knowledge of the age-old 6,000 year enemy all over the earth. The American white race can I sincerely give the so-called Negro, the slave, a square deal. She only desired to deceive them. Today, America is trying against the will to give the so-called Negro civil rights. It's against their very nature and will of the white race. For the first time since this black man had been here, America falsely offered him social equality in certain parts of the country. This social equality consists mostly permitting the American black race to mix openly with the white woman, the devils. The actual idea, however, is to grant the so-called Negro civil rights and social equality amongst the lower class of whites. This is done so that the scriptures wherein they prophesy that this white man tempts, corrupts the so-called with his woman might be fulfilled. God has taught me that the right race was grafted unlike and beyond like. is able to attract the black man and black woman, getting them to do all the evil known to the white race. One of the prophets of the Bible prophesied in regard to America as the morning spread abroad upon the mountains. A great and strong people sat and battled away. See Job chapter 2, verse 2. This is the setting of the nation for a showdown to determine who lives on earth. The survivor is to build a nation of peace to rule the people of the earth forever under the guidance of Allah God. With the nation setting forth for a final war at this time, God plead for his people, the inheritors of this earth, the so-called Negro. The so-called Negro is the prey of the white man of America, being held firmly a white man's powers, along with 2 million Indians who must be redeemed at this time. It will be if the so-called Negro turn to his Redeemer. The problem of the American black man is his unwillingness to be separated from his 400-year-old enemy. The problem, therefore, is harder to solve, especially with the enemy is trying to fascinate the Negro with his lower class girls and women are raiding them partly nude. Before the Negro in every public news media, cheap daily newspaper, magazine, radio, TV, and the Negro is quick to intimidate. The problem between these two people, separation. The so-called Negro so that they may be accepted and respected as equal or superior to the nation must be solved. This is God's promise to the so-called Negro, lost found members, original black nations of the earth. This problem was made through the mouth of his prophets, the Bible, Quran, that he would separate us from our enemies and dignify and make us the master. After this wicked race had been judged and destroyed for its own evil. But as I said, the solving of this problem, which means the redemption of a Negro, is hard to do since he loved his enemy. See this Bible, Deuteronomy 18:15, Psalms, Isaiah, Matthew, and Revelation chapter 14, the manifestation of Allah, the judgment between the so-called enemy of God and the nation of Islam will make the so-called Negro see and know his enemy, himself, his people, his God, and his religion. We hear the statements of black educational, political, and Christian class which express their love for the white man, probably asking to be his brother, if not his brother-in-law. Now this class wants to make it clear to the world that they really love the white race and not the black race. This means that they want to be right instead of black. The devil had made them hate black. They reject the thought of black ever being a ruler or equal with the rulers. They act boldly from inferiority, not only for themselves, but for their people. They want to assert themselves and their kind, especially so-called American Negro, into a race of white people without ending the black race. It is just the opposite with Allah, God, myself, and my followers. We want out completely. We want no claim to kinship with a people who by nature are not our kin. Read from Genesis to Revelation in the Bible and from Surah chapter 2, Surah 114 of the Holy Quran. And by no means are the so-called Negro and white kins. God did not create them brothers, nor did he create them to ever become brothers. One is created enemy against the other. And since the righteous are more powerful than the wicked, Allah, the God of righteousness, set a time of reckoning for enemy, the white man, of the righteous, separation. We want separation. We want a home on this earth we can call home. We want to go for self and lead enemy who have been sentenced to death by Allah. Revelation 20:10-14, from the day he was created. See this subject in the Bible and Quran. No one, white, black, brown, yellow, or red, can prove to me by any scriptures of Allah God, sent by one of the prophets of Allah God, that we should not be separate from the right race, and that we should believe and follow the religion dictated and shaped it and formed it by the white race theosophicans. The coming of Allah and the judgment of the wicked world is made clear by the prophet's saying of the prophet. The so-called reverends and the proud intellectual class are doomed to destruction with the enemy if they remain with him instead of joining in to Allah, who loved them and who will deliver them the nation of Islam. The so-called Negro masters must be warned of the great mistake they made in following the leaderships of those who love and befriend their murderers. This will not get them freedom or civil rights. America is falling. Her doom hath come, and none said the prophet shall help her in the days of her downfall. In the Bible, God plead with you to fly out of her. America seek refuge in him. Revelation 18:4. It certainly will change your mind about fallen a doomed people who hate you and your kind, and who call one who teaches the truth about them a hater. They are the producer of hate of us. We are with God and the righteous. The days of trouble have now come to America. The days of trouble have now come to us from Almighty God Allah, the God who is the real owner of the heavens and earth. Allah God created for himself a heaven, and then he let it out to a forged right race for them to adorn themselves in it for a while. They have proved it unworthy of such glorious creations. And now the God who is the owner of this heaven and earth is ready to take over and rule it for himself. Never no more will the earth nor the heaven and earth be let out to non-owners. It is a great wisdom taught to us. Let new creatures, right race, try the knowledge of mastering that which they was not made to master, which we knew when we made them that they will not be able to master the original creation for long. For as long as we, the black people, are of the planet, there is no new creatures that could be put in order for ruling that which we already have, and we are in it. It's such a wise piece of work that have been done. Wisdom, knowledge, understanding of the original of this creation is just. There is no comparison anywhere to make. There is no such thing that the original can put the planet aside out of the whole and let someone else take over. This race, the right race, has not been successful in ruling according to the will and according to the real owner. For the right race to have to use the original material that himself has created. There is nothing of which the white man can call himself the creator. So therefore, since this white man continued to make trouble, which by nature he was made to do, we do not see any way out of trying to live with the white man in peace. The nature of the white man is to ever cause an unrest amongst himself and amongst us too. The white man just cannot make peace from himself because we see of his nature. Today, God has decided that we, the black people, cannot get along with this white man in peace, and that the white man must be removed. The right race wants to remove us, the black people, but in order for this white man to remove us, the black man, he will have to remove the whole entire heaven and make the heaven vote anything like life. Then from a vote, we'll have to just start all over again and create life. For the life and universe is life that we, the black people, have established it. Therefore, to get away from our own life, which was created by the black man so that a new life come in, we will have to rid the space of life, which belonged to us, the black man. And when the space was rid of life that we, the black people, have created, and no one would have to create life of its own making. We, the poor black people here in America, must be changed into a new and different people altogether. So Allah God, who came in a person of Master Fard Muhammad, whom praise are due forever, taught me. But now the complete make of us, we will be renewed from what we are in now, and we call it a new thing. There will come a day when we, the black people, will have a complete new thing for man and earth and the heaven above us. But according to the scientists, God will cause this to go into a new thing, not a complete destruction of the old, where there is no root to grow something from, not at this time. The thing that Allah God would like to do now, would do, is destroy the work of the devil. And the devil would like to destroy God's work, which God has created. The devil cannot destroy God's creation because the devil has no part in the creation of the first creation. Since the devil has no part in the first creation, just make the devil unable to lay hold to the power that will destroy the first work of God. The main thing, which I keep mentioning enough to make you disgusted, is something for this black man in America who has spent his life long asleep in ignorancy of the knowledge of that which he is in. But as soon as the black man can awaken to the knowledge of this that he is in, then he can add hold to that which he did not have knowledge of, which is that the black man is the creator of the first creation. Allah God wants to put the black man back into power. And the way the black man can be put back into power is Allah has to make this black man all over again to master power, after giving the black man the authorities. Look at the poor, once pitiful black man in America. See, look how he strives to reach for himself. Now making a fast progress in that which God leave for him to understand. So the black man conversation has changed. The black man way of thinking has changed. This astral physical form has changed. It's a great thing that have come to the black man in America. The black man in America is getting happier and happier. It's now hard for this black man in America to get rich, from getting rich from his own wisdom. See, no one have given him anything. And as the Bible teach you of the son, see, no one gave into him, but he's getting rich so fast that God chose the son to become the head of the house that he should stray away from. See, the future of the black man is so beautiful that we can hardly comprehend it. The biggest thing that stands before us is qualification and readiness. Let us get qualified to master the house. The God is given to us before someone tried to rob us of that master in the house. If they rob us of the master in the house, I'm sorry for us. I said to you, black brothers and black sisters, do not be foolish. The kingdom of heaven will be given to you and to me. Have patience to receive it. But to get the house into our service is like a mother giving birth to a baby. The baby must mature in that which he is in, as the baby mature in the womb of the mother in order to be born. So the black man must mature to be born into a new world, but the black man must build himself. These are the days of trouble. With the end of the rule of the right race over the black people of earth and sight, face to face. We have to deal with each other according to actual facts. which exists between the two nations, black and white, with the nature and desire of the right race to continue their rule and suggestion of the darker people, even though the white man recognized these facts, continue to try to hold on into his rule. His suggestion, his thinking of what he has acquired under such rule, that which is his, cannot give up depraved his concessions, the merchandise which he has split it out under the nose and eyes of the real owner, black man, is willing to shed the blood of his own people and adapt with others to hold into that which he called his legal possessions. The spirit rose and the black man says no, that the continent and what is on and under its surface belong to him and his people, black nation. This spirit and knowledge is now not only confined to Africa and Asia, to black, brown, and yellow people, but it actually is now arising in American so-called Negro. The true lost and found brothers of the black man throughout the earth, whether it be Africa or Asia, he is the brother of them all. It is desire and the right way to continue to hold power and authorities over black Africa, whether it is or elsewhere. They will just have to give it up. See, England, Germany, and Italy, and France, especially England and France, and Stelton, Germany, seem to be diehard. The white man will be acting wisely if they'll realize that one day, sooner or later, they must pack up and leave. Wherefore, I quote, the Bible prophesies concerning separation of nations. Again today as it was before. Every man must go to his own. This is the clearest and most direct justice that God and man could agree upon. The white man cannot live in luxury unless he has the black man in his place of possession, suggestion to his will. But as I repeatedly says in this paper and all of my writings, you cannot make God and his prophet liars, nor can we reverse the time of the prediction which these things will take place. The time have come. This is nothing but justice, that we have possession of what is our own. So the white man is conscious of the fact that he has deceived the black man of the knowledge of the black man and his possessions, but that particular authority was given divinely temporarily, but by the same divinity is now being taken from the right race. The right race is facing doom because she will not act according to justice and righteousness, which was not by nature put in her. This is known, and the race is frightened it concerning her future, as we see here in America today. So the white man recognizes coming doom. And many of them would have died here and go elsewhere outside of America to try to defend what they call their own independent sovereignty. Some have poured gasoline over themselves and committed suicide by setting themselves on fire. This is a very new and open act of a people who want every other people, black, brown, yellow, red, on earth, to fight their wars, say their independence. A ruthless and brutal people, black America, England and Germany should be ashamed in this modern time to look for these people when they have robbed it, killed, murdered, brought under by force. You think that today they should be so soundly asleep that they ignore the time and authority that they can unite as Europeans have been doing against black Africa and brown and yellow Asia? As the book says to the right race, as thou hast done, so shall it be done to you. See, the white man must return to Europe and concentrate on that continent for his future, or else concentrate on his death instead of his life, for they can no longer rule the black man. So the black man now knows where his home is now rising up to take possession of that which is his. America's doom, fear. Allah and the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, for finding and offers to sit us in heaven at once. Our submission to him entirely. We fear the doom of America that is now cut to pieces. They prophesied teach us that our doom will come in one day. We see death, mourning came in one day. One day means 1 year. Even after that, she should be burned with fire. Now, divine prophecy is that America's self-isolation from the nations of this earth. As we see in the divine prophecy, America is going to suffer from the nation of the earth. She's going to suffer from all of those foreign countries. As you're going to see China, Russia, all these allies. See, America, one thing about America, she don't support her allies. Look at Tehran. Look at Israel. Look how America will deposit Israel on foreign soil, which is the Palestinians' land. Well, that's how things are going to turn out. Now, we fear the doom of America that we see that is now cut to pieces. The prophecy teaches us that her doom will come in one day. We see death, mourning came in one day. See, 1 day means 1 year. Even after that, she should be burned with fire. Divine prophecy, America will suffer isolation from the nations of this earth. The revelation of John and the Bible prophesies of America's doom. America is spoken of under the savage name of a beast and dragon who oppose the messenger of God and all those who seeks to follow him. Beast, dragon are the name used to represent America because of their nature we see and their characteristics of these people, evil and haters of his black one slaves. The beast or dragon trolls women seeking to destroy the messenger and his followers, the new convert. To the messenger of Allah is referred to as the woman with a newborn baby, with a victorious beast-like enemy trails her, the messenger of God, everywhere that he goes. The beast does this to prevent the messengers and his followers from making progress and making friends with his own black people, who will help the messengers to convert and unite his black people, not only in the United States of America, but the whole world of the black nations, to unite and fly out of our enemies who seek to destroy and kill you and me night and day does not just mean leaving America, but it means also to lead the ideologically and all that America represents, the sexual indoctrination. And the nation we see, Europe and Asia stood far away, all for fear of her burning the USA, and for fear of her divine pledge. To you, my black people, the end is now. Who said that you were going any place? Heaven and hell are both a condition of life. They are not places. The devil make hell for you. God in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, makes heaven for you and me. America has it, her own doom. The ultimate aim of this world should be known to everyone, especially the righteous. We are classified the righteous as being the people who belong to the right God, the God of righteousness, truth, freedom, justice, and quality of the nations of righteousness. Today, the so-called American Negro must be resurrected and made to know, understand the fate of anyone who will follow, be deceived by the arch deceivers. The strongest and most powerful weapons the arch deceiver have at the disposal is to deceive the world of righteousness, the nation of Islam. They do not stop at the common, ignorant Muslims, but reach also for the scholars and scientists of Islam, who should be aware of their trickery and deceits. We are in a world that's passing out of existence, and she is putting up a fight war, destroy the nation righteousness. Be aware to try to pose success of Allah's truth only has to their doom of falsehood and its teachers. The world of evil makes its first attack on the world of righteousness, thereby clearly showing herself as being an enemy of righteousness. When she thinks that she has built up a strong enough force to attack the righteous, she does so, which I have said before, has her own doom. Falsehood cannot be victorious over the truth in the days of truth. The resurrection is the day of truth. The resurrection is a day of truth as the trumpet over falsehood. The arch deceiver forced war against himself. The ultimate aim is to do as the people always have done, to try to destroy the preachers of truth and those who believe and follow him. This was the aim of Cain when he slayed his brother Abel, and the aim of the dragon when he sought to destroy the woman, the messengers, as it is written in Revelation chapter 12, verse 4. The lost found members of that nation should be taught to know the ultimate aim of this world. God has visited them and have prepared a teacher in myself to teach them, thereby making it easy for them to understand, recognize this world and the secret ultimate aim. It's even given in the Bible, Revelation 12:9. There it speaks of the members belonging to the righteous nation, showed that through deceits, Satan caused them to become as himself against the truth, peace, justice, safety, and security. One who enjoyed if he only was not deceived it. Under deceits, the weak-minded who had no understanding or knowledge of the arch deceivers. The devil, Satan, are made prey in the hands of the arch deceivers. This will bring about war as a showdown between the God of righteousness and the God of unrighteousness, the devil, that already had begun. God must fulfill his promise to show himself as God over all the power of heaven and earth, and man on earth, as it is written, Thessalonians chapter 2:9. He come after working of Satan. Satan had been given his power, knowledge, and authorities, deceive as many as he could before the appearance of God or the universal manifestations of the presence of God. He was given this power in the beginning, according to chapter 2 and 7 of the Holy Quran, according to the Bible in Genesis 1:26, Revelation 6:4 and 8, Revelations 12:3 and 4. We have known all our life that the devil was a great deceiver, an enemy of God, and that he wished to be the victorious with his knowledge of superior art and deceiving the people of God. He desired to cast them down, disgrace them, and make them accept his deceits before the very face of God and the general resurrection of the dead. The so-called American Negro, as I have repeatedly taught and my article, sermon, and my lecture to my people are spiritually dead. They have been touched and paralyzed to death by the archivist through his missionary teachings, his literature, his personal conversation, and by accepting his advice. God has given to me a very strong truth that will defend, protect, and prevent you from falling victim to the archivers. Read these and treasure them. They are your life. Ignore them. It is your death. The great days we see, the terrible days of God. We must not forget, my brothers and sisters, how we are warned by prophecy for 100 years and for 1,000 years that the end must come to his world. The ruler of this world must be removed, and the crown must be taken off and placed upon another head, and they will rule in justice and righteousness. The people of this world have now become so wicked and so fearful of the consequences of their own rule until the almost thoughtless vision is gone and the fearfulness have taken hold of the people. Their heads is going to unfold to the nations of this earth to find a way of peace between the heads of the nation. A great time, a terrible time, a terrible time. The hearts of the people are all beginning to weaken and to fail because of what is going on, what they see is coming. America and the people have lived so rich and so joyfully in wickedness, murder, robbery, and hatred of one another, until it has hardened their hearts so much that they are made to think that they can make friends and live on with those upon whom they have no mercy. They crushed all the weak nations of the earth with their powers and brought them to the clutches of slavery. They forced other nations to bow. They pushed the borders around the earth as the kings did in his day and time. But in those days, the king boasts. Think over it. England made that saying, boast. Now, England used to boast that the sun did not set on her empire. Take a look at England today. There is no British empire for the sun or moon to set on. This morning, we see in May 30, 1972, we see the radio news announcer says that they found mines in Chicago River. Just make it all together more frightening. For if a mine should blow a ship up in the city limits, it would be dangerous to the life of the people. Just think over this. The Chicago River runs through the downtown section of Chicago, Illinois. No one wants to frighten the people more, but the frightening of the people sometimes does good. The great days, the terrible days. We see people are being shot down on the streets, right in their homes, or right walking the streets. They are blown down as though their life are nothing. The great days, the terrible days. America and people have been here according to history since a few years after Columbus, the explorers. She conquered the Red Indians, the original owners of the land, who she found here, and took it for a home for herself and kind. She has continued conquering powers that go on around the earth, affecting every civilized nation submission to her will. She was successful in forcing other people to bow to her will, whether they like it or not. Now is the hands of God, which is after America, to force her into submission. A hand from which we have no defense, as it is written and prophesied in the Bible under the name of Babylon. Jeremiah 51:25. Behold, I'm against you, O destroying mountain, said the Lord, which destroy all the earth. I'll stretch out my hands upon you and roll you down from the rock, and will make you a burnt mountain. Jeremiah 51:53 says, though Babylon shall mount up to heaven, and though she shall have fortified the heights of her strength, yet for me shall spoils come into her, said the Lord. America is under destruction, similar to that of ancient Babylon. In the Bible, Jeremiah, Isaiah, and Revelation of John prophesies concerning her. Babylon there mentioned is a future Babylon, and that Babylon of the past. America has enslaved all of the so-called Negro, and her evil mistreatment of them is similar to ancient Babylon enslavement and mistreatment of the Jews, according to the scriptures. It took the hands of God to bring the kings of Babylon and his people into the submission to the power of God. He brought the surrounding kings and their power against ancient Babylon and their prime, the heights of her glory, the handwritings on the wall, the casting of downs, and his followers, into the furious furnace, making drunk the people of God with their strong wine, and then mocking them. So has America done to the so-called Negro. America makes him drunk with wine and whiskey and beer, and then laugh at him. She put him to the furious furnace, burned him at the stake, or sitting around with her family drinking intoxicating drinks, laughing at the burning flesh of God's people, as she made all the world drink from her fornication. This is why you go into stores, and this is why they put alcohol at a cheap price for you to buy it from the bungle. A lot of people go to Costco's to buy their alcohol on these holidays. We are not to follow these holidays. All is showing you these pagan rituals, these paganism. Anytime America makes them drunk with wine and whiskey and beer and then laugh at him. See, this is the judgment that has come to America. See, there is no justice whatsoever you see. As the Revelation gives, she made all the world drink of the wine of her fornication. But the end is coming to such evil doing. America lived in peace, you see, so far as you see forging wars is concerned. She had destroyed other people and their towns and cities. She had leveled them to the ground. She's still prepared to do the same with her great stockpiles. She says she have enough bombs and destructive weapons to destroy all human beings on the face of the earth 3 times. Still have some left. Others she boasts. But Allah, God says to me that he will destroy America. He will bring her to her knees in humiliation. The destruction sent to ancient Babylon is recorded in the Bible as an answer to most of what he has said to me will come upon the now rich America. Rain, hail, snow, earthquakes. These weapons all belong to God. America, how do you fight an army like this? The 4 mentioned weapons of Allah God cannot be ignored. The whole year had been a year doubtful of Allah God, pledging America day and night. With storms we see, rain, flood, killing, and destroying properties. And now the coming winter, hell has been falling in some places. you see the size of golf balls, baseballs, and footballs. The rain continued to fall in places, and a dreadful snow blizzard is now in the working. A cold wind is blowing in the north to come against America, as it is written and prophesied we see in Joel 38:22 and 23. Have you entered into the treasures of the snow? Or have you seen the treasures of hell, which I have reserved against this time of trouble, against this day of battle and war? Earthquakes are now again to be recognized touching America lightly, but nevertheless, they are here with all of her wealth and preaching of Christianity. She had not been a good Christian herself. As Jeremiah said, arise, get you up into the wealthy nation that dwelt without care, said the Lord, which has neither gates nor bars, which dwelt alone. This corresponds to America. She lives situated between the two greatest bodies of water of the earth, the Atlantic and the Pacific, and she is very careless. She rejoices in her evil and filth as though she is self-protected from the divine hands of God. Jeremiah 50:31 prophesied, behold, I'm against you. Most proud, said the Lord God of hosts. Your days has come. Time thou visit you. Allah God is visiting America with great destruction, which he has to pour upon the wicked America. After the mistreatment of the so-called Negro for 400 years, she desired now to deceive them, to cause them to share with her, and to share and suffer her doom. Jeremiah 50 verse 6. My people have been lost sheep. The shepherd has caused them to go astray. The white and black preachers of Christianity have turned them away on the mountain. They have gone from mountains to hills. They have forgotten their resting place, their native people and country. Jeremiah 50 verse 7. All that found them had devoured them, and their adversaries says, we fear not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even Lord, the hope of their fathers. Since this white man had made the so-called Negro as wicked, a person as himself, now these are the words that he speaks. They are just as evil as we. Therefore, Allah God is against them too. The so-called Negro repeat the same and says the white man is no worse than the so-called Negro. The white man has opened all of his doors and avenues of temptation to lure Negro man for total destruction. Again, we have a warning to lead a people with whom God is angry, as the people of ancient Babylon was warned to do. Jeremiah 51:45. My people go out of the midst of her, deliver every man his soul from the furious anger of the Lord. All of the pledge, destruction and judgment, which Allah God used to destroy the wicked and disobedience from the time of Adam until this day, will be brought upon America. Then she will be burned with fire. This is the time of trouble that shall bring America into insanity. The dreadful times of America. America, especially North America, have entered into a time that was predicted by Moses and the prophet between him and Jesus. In the 24th chapter we see of Matthew, there's a prophecy made by Jesus of the present time of America without mentioning her name. He refers to the country as a world because this part of the earth is referred to in many places by the prophet and by Jesus himself as a wilderness. The name America is not yet 500 years old, so the prophet referred to it as a wilderness in their prophecy. It is terrific, I use the word terrible, because it is not a thing that can be described as something now, or something that is moving slowly, nor something that can be recognized so easily by the common people. It is clear to all who can see that America had reached the stage about which she has always had been warned. She always had wanted to keep it a secret because of her so-called Negro slaves. She never desired for the slave to know too much of what was in store for her because of enslaving, mistreating her slave. She had reared them for the past 400 years. She knows them. She knows how they think and how they react to her teachings. She knows they fear her. She knows the slave, but slaves do not know America, the slave master. The great, dreadful, and awful day's doom is now on the doors and windows of America and of the church, the religion of America. As long as Christianity works, America thought she was safe because it is one of the most deceiving and upright misleading religions of the world. Allah God taught me that carefully examine everything in the religion of Christianity designed to make slaves out of black people. If Christianity was a red rag and wrung out, every drop would write slavery for the black man. The world knows this now, but the spiritually blind, deaf, dumb American so-called Negro, to whom I'm calling and appealing to reason, I'm calling them to reason with me on the truth and their own starvation. It's now a truth of self and kind, an enemy of self. There will not be an end to the Caucasus between black and white in America and throughout the world. Their wrong, evil, murdering, deceiving, robbing the poor black man of the earth is destroyed, and righteousness and justice are practiced there. This is the day of God Almighty to set up justice and equality throughout the earth, and to free the black man, the American so-called Negro, from his deceitful, evil, and murderous enemies. America wished to oppose Allah God in his work of bringing justice and freedom to her one slave. But this is just what Allah God wants. Allah wants America to attack him, to get the fight started, to bring his judgment against her, the fullness of his strength and powers. America is bringing about the political gloom. Here, the politicians are unable to carve out a future for America. The plan is deceiving the so-called politicians to work against their own freedom, justice, and equality, starvation that Allah God has brought to them, is making the so-called Negro and high office become the enemy of his own people, freedom, justice, and equality. Such office are held out as a bribe to get black politicians to work against the spread of the truth of their starvation. They are happy, and their boss know that they are, to have a place near him in such office just for the purpose of trying to oppose Allah and his messengers and freeing the poor black man who is in the mud. This is causing the political confusion, complete destruction of a house divided against itself. I'm asking in the name of Allah that the American governments agree on the separation of her one slave and their master. Of course, Allah God is significant. We want a home on this earth. We can call home. We do not want to be slave anymore to white people. We do not want to be free Uncle Tom for white people. We do not want to be sissy pies, bootlickers. We want to do something for self and go for self. However, America with her blind, deaf, dumb politician class, or the so-called, will bring a swift destruction upon their heads, along with the doom that is inviolable against the enemy. It is not 20 years in the future, nor 15 years. Let no one deceive you. It is here at our doors now. The dreadful pledge, confusion of America are beginning to boil. The few making it boil will not crease until it boils down to the last of the dregs. The present promise of a better future that America is making to the so-called will prove to be false. And all of her false promises to the American so-called will be short-lived by both because the time of her doom has approached. America will have to do a marvelous thing of justice, a square deal to turn it back. A fasting show attempting the negro to fill and evil will not work. It takes justice to work to postpone the dreadful days of America. America lost a war. Friendship is speeding her doom. The deluge before the storm. I'm afraid for you that you will receive what the people before you did receive. Allah God is very angry with white America and the trickology that she used on the dead to keep them dead. You are very disappointing to Allah God, the original black people who know themselves. A few, of course. The false show of a glorious future that the wicked is put on is at hand. Must remember Daniel prophecy that the end of the war, desolations are determined. Before this happens, Allah God will bless the people with a good time, as he did the people of the past who wronged themselves, who did not pay attention to the prophet warning amongst them. Allah God destroys them. They thought that they were fooling Allah God, but Allah God surprised them. He made the people rejoice for a short time, with a show of great prosperity. At the heights of their great prosperity, suddenly he destroys them. This is the merciful law that Allah has put in nature. Allah God let a dying person rally before the end. America is going to do the same. See, America will rally and people would think that she's going to have a great future. And then the end will come in that kind of time. American end will not come while she's going around with her head hanging down, her heart itching, and failing because of the things that are coming on her nations. No, she will be made to enjoy good times. Stock markets are going up and lots of shares being sold. This makes any man thinks that everything's all right, but this is only the deluge before the storm. And the Bible warns America of what happened before her. Ancient Babylon enjoyed full ruling position of her time. But King Darius came against her at the time of her full enjoyment of wealth, drunkenness, laughing at the slave that she had made of Israel. King Darius came with his army and overcame the sleeping guards who were sleeping on the security of their lives. The Bible prophesies that the enemy would say, "Come, let us go up, destroy her, whose city is not fenced in." They will come from afar, and they may come at noonday, or they may come at the rising, in the morning, or in the afternoon. But nevertheless, they will come at a time that you doubt not. At the war into the end of war, desolation are determined, and that determination shall be poured upon the desolate. The Bible, Daniel 9:26 and 27. I want you to know that that which will be poor means it is the violation of your America. If you ever get back into power again to attack the nations of the earth. Europe will become one of the worst war areas of all the world, more dreadful than Vietnam and other places that you are planning on going into. Asia will look like child's play when compared to what is going to happen in Europe. The prophet says, "Whom to a land that's shallow with rings." This means America, whose skies is filled with planes. Most of all other judgment and trouble which are pointed at in the Bible are pointed at America. Study them for yourself. America right up today with all of her battles with her outside enemy never lose sight of the inside of a poor old black slave. She does not want him to do anything. She wants him to be deceived. She does not want him to accept the starvation that Allah God's offering the black one slave here in America. Allah God is offering the black one slave heaven at once. This he has proven to everyone that believe in Allah God and follow me. I am the door. By no means can you get by except you come by me. Your prayers will not be heard unless my name is mentioned in them. I'm saying that you cannot get a prayer through to Allah God unless you mention me in your prayers. Try it and see it. Certify that those who know this will bear me witness. I have the keys to your salvation. I have the keys to your hell. I can if you just let me pull you out of hell and set you into heaven. Then I can keep you in heaven, or I can keep pushing you and push you into the punishment of hell till you acknowledge that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person Master Fly Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, and that Elijah Muhammad is his servant. There is no escape for you today. The only way is through me is through Allah God. Me first. You cannot get to Allah God without getting to me first. The lube before the storm. America is trying with all her might to hinder you from getting to heaven. America made promises to you, and she makes promises to me, but she does not intend to fulfill them. Some of America's financial people promise to loan us millions of dollars, but when it comes time to do so, they vanish. But a day will come when we will be able to do the same things to them. It is entirely up to them to make good of this day for themselves and their people by submitting to the truth themselves, as the Bible says. The Gentiles shall come to the light of your rising. America wants to destroy God and me, and she wants to destroy you by deceiving you against following you. America lift up all my hypocrites and advise you to fall down, while she knows that you will be the losers. Look what she had done for Malcolm. America named universities after him in order for you to follow Malcolm. See, Malcolm turned from Allah, God, and me and started to follow them. America will lift up any one of you. They'll disobey Allah, God, myself, and come to them. See how they are doing. Everyone that's a hypocrite to Allah, God, and me. America raised him up for you to follow. America will glorify his name. Malcolm was no lover of white people. He only lied to them in order to get a chance to fight me, but he was not a lover of them. Malcolm was a double cross. He tried to get to me with the help, as it is written, and prophesied it that he would do. His name is not written there in the name of Malcolm. In history, another name is used. Another name is used, but his work is there in the history of the hypocrites and the life of Muhammad. He tried to take advantage while Muhammad was sick. So you find this in a writing of Washington Irving. Even some scientific writers of Islam, they can tell you Malcolm history. But the enemy fools you. He did not like Malcolm. But when Malcolm working against me, he used Malcolm. He knew that Malcolm had learned the history of me. He was not able to change it. But even if the enemy will glorify them, they will come to another. But the time as ruling power over black people is up. They knew that better than Malcolm did. They set up for worship all hypocrites against me. Suppose we will worship China and Russia against them, but we do not worship them. For Allah God is most significant, more significant than all of their nations. Allah God does not see them as a power and force against him. They are so little and weak in their powers. They cannot fight against Allah God and win. The more you fight against Allah God, the more you will lose yourself. From the Bible and from this chapter and from now on, if you do not know that he is tricking you, making you to follow hypocrites, it is your doom. Just watch it. He trails me, goes down to Bahamas, everywhere that he thinks that I'm going or where I have been. This is written. I do not fault him for doing what is written of him. I try to do that which is written of me. I do not fault him for what he is made by nature to do, nor should he fault me for what by nature I am. But I fault you if you let this little transgression, this life, our enemy, deprive you of a great future for yourself. We can buy hospitals and places to educate and train our people to the superior education in the nation of earth. But you rather give your money over to white Americans, let them spend it on what they want to, and they pay you little interest. We offer interest too, the highest of interest, but you do not trust us. So we were built right along without your help. We are going to be the renters. And it's prophesied that we who will believe will be the winners. And my work that was prophesied to me before I was born, you see it today. Try and find a successful one who is working in opposition to me. None of you who are trying to aid the devil against me will be successful in doing so. The devil knows that. He's not trying to do these things himself, only with you. He knows that he will not be successful in stopping my progress, that him nor several times his number, as long as I'm with Allah God, and he is with me, and that will be all the days of my life. Fire fed with fuel. The subject of this chapter is taken from the Holy Quran, Surah 85, verse 5. We do not hope for peace as long as we add to a war that would serve as a fuel to a fire. Fire cannot go out by adding more fuel. A dying burn fire is increased when more fuel is thrown into it. There are lots of people who are so anxious for peace so that they can return to committing that which they lack in love, sport, and play. The world that we live in desire, first of all, to hide the truth, to keep the black man who is made blind, deaf, and dumb by scientific trigonometry of the right race, so that the right race can continue carry on the same deceiving and wickedness that they have been practicing. How can we expect peace when the method used to bring about peace is the same method that started a war? Instead of finding a right solution, then practicing a right solution. I said these things for the sake of my own black people, for they are so ignorant to the knowledge of the truth of the time in which we are living. What they would like to do cannot be done. The time to even continue to do what you are doing is up. We must remember again the prediction of the Bible that I foretold these times. If we understand the Bible, it most certainly teach us that there is no peace we see of the wicked. There is no people who preach such a thing as peace, and as being true followers of the prophet Jesus, as much as the right Christian do. Day and night, the airways are full of their preaching. To hear them, you would think that they are the prophet Moses and Aaron. As the word Jesus put it, they sat in Moses' seat. The right Christians are great deceivers. The Pope of Rome cannot bring peace to the Christian church, for he is not enjoying peace himself. So who is that people then that the Bible prophesies of in the book of Isaiah, that he will extend peace to them like rivers? Surely it cannot be the present Christian right race, for they are the ones who are breaking the peace. Fire fed with fuel, leave your own home and country. Go to another man's home and country to make trouble for that people. Then accuse that people of being a troublemaker. It is the attacker who is guilty of that which follows the attack. I said to you, black people, you can get away from that old understanding of the time. You are not living in a time in which you may be expecting a settlement of the war that will give you what you have always been used to: sport, play, and foolishness. Actually, now is the time that you and I should be wise enough to understand that we should think for self and do for self. If you do not know how to do for self, you should follow the man to whom Allah God has given that knowledge to teach you how to do for self. With the ocean filled with the fleets of the right Christians, the sky crowded with their death-dealing planes or other people's territories, could you tell them that they should submit to you for peace? If you are able to force them to their knees or to destroy them, then I say yes. If that was the situation, then I will say that they should submit and let you trumpet. But you cannot force them to their knees. They have been preparing for a war like this for nearly a century. Or what I should say, they have been preparing and working faithfully for half a century to entertain the attacker with the same type of weapons and better weapons than the weapons you are attacking them with. If you insort the worst weapons, they have worse weapons also. So we are in a time with arguments to the country of peace, like heaping fire on a feud. Basically, keeping fuel on a fire. It keeps it burning. See, we are living in an evil time. I believe, and maybe many hundreds of thousands believe as I do, that the President of the United States of America had good intentions towards citizens of America when he took over the presidency. But the time is against him. For the past 4,000 years or more, Allah God has always given the prophecy to the mouth of his prophets of the doom of the wicked. Now is the time, and we cannot do anything but take it. It's a dangerous to add fuel to unwanted fire. The fire is the war. Man heart failing in fear. How true the prophet Jesus says in Luke 21:25 and 26 concerning present time. Bear witness that the seas and waves are warring, and that fear is now covering nation as shown by unusual heart failures. It is now current amongst man. These are the signs of the end of the present world. The oceans and seas are heaving up tidal waves to a massive height that man had never witnessed before on earth. It's another pledge that's upon the wicked. The cat says dusting zone we see is on a rise for an uptick. Now, why should these things happen? Because the revelation teach you why. 90% of the revelation is directed at America. So since the Holy Quran teach that the judgment will be such that the earth itself will act as though revelations have been revealed to it because of its perfect obedience to the laws of Allah on that day. Allah will use the power that is in the earth and the sea against the world of evil. The right race thinks that they have control of the power of the earth, sea, and air. It was prophesied that for a time they would subdue and have the use of the power of the sea and ocean until he comes who right it is to rule. The heaven and earth belongs to Allah God. Now it is his time to rule. There is much prophecy concerning the terribleness of the judgment of the wicked. The power that is in the water is in the hands of Allah God to use it against whom he please. The earth, wind, rain, snow, and ice, and earthquakes are controlled by Allah God. It is a fearful sight to see the displays of his power, the force of nature bowing, submitting to his will. I shall warn you that this is now coming into action against the Western world. There will be the destruction of whole fleets at seas. Those which are capable of lying on the ocean, sea bottom will be destroyed. The die is set with a foolish people who, like in the time of Noah, could not see the sign of the rain, bringing on the flood, even after the cloud began to darken the skies. They did not see the oncoming rain until it actually started to rain. So it is with America. Pay no attention. The sign of the judgment is now taking place as it is prophesied. In Revelation 16:9, they blaspheme the name of God, which has power over these pledges. How many in America, in the city of Chicago, disbelieve, even mock, and swear in the name of Allah, who has power over the force of nature, land, sea, and air? Allah God is now doing as is prophesied. Holy Quran, Surah 13:41, visiting the land and curtain it of his eyes. The foolish still are foolish until he is cast to that narrow place, and that turn to the right or left, as it was with the donkey that Balaam was riding. came to a narrow place between two walls. You cannot turn around. You have to stop face to face with the angels or be destroyed. The Bible, Numbers 22, 23, and 26. Let it be remembered that Allah God came forth for redemption, to deliver the American black people from their tormentors. Whether we like it or not, you will do this. This is the work of Allah God, which is in effect. Let America use the history of the fall and destruction of ancient Egypt and her pharaoh. Let the history serve as a warning. It was brought to nothing for the evil done to a people whom Allah God has chosen, for example, of these last days, the lost found black slave and their slave masters.